The movie starts out with Yuta, the main character, getting bullied at school and Rika saving him. We cut to Yuta being held in the same secret execution chamber Yuji was in episode 1 of the show. Gojo talks to the higher-ups about what happened with Yuta, and they explain that he has agreed to an execution. Claiming he is only 16 and is strong enough to take out grade 1 and 2 sorcerers, Gojo says he will watch over Yuta at Jujutsu High. Gojo asks Yuta what happened to the knife, and he explains that he tried using it but Rika stopped him. Not wanting to go to the school, Yuta explains that he is scared he will hurt another person unwillingly. Gojo says Yuta's power is not just one that can hurt people but also help, and that he can learn to control it easier at the school. We get different shots from Yuta's room at the school, seeing his bedroom, bathroom, and his engawa. While walking to class, Yuta looks at the high school and he runs into Gojo waiting for him. It cuts to Panda, Maki, and Inumaki, who are talking about the new transfer student. Maki says she will ring him out if he does anything wrong. Introducing the new student, Gojo tries to get them excited but receives no response. Entering the room, Yuta tries to introduce himself but his cursed energy is so strong, they attack him in fear of thinking it was a test. After telling him he's cursed and that the school isn't for him, Rika comes through the chalkboard trying to protect Yuta. It cuts to 6 years ago where we see Yuta as a young boy. He is sitting in a sandpit with a girl who gives him a ring. The girl, who we learn is Rika, tells him that it's an engagement ring, and that when they both grow up they will get married. Seeing a car crash, we realize that Rika was run over and Yuta saw it happen. Rika then grabs Yuta by the feet and it seems she curses him. We cut back to the classroom and Gojo introduces the classmates to Yuta. Inumaki, who uses cursed speech and can only speak in rice ball ingredients. Maki, who specializes in tools to exorcise curses. And Panda, who is a mutated cursed corpse. Gojo tells the class that they will split into 2 groups of 2. Pair 1 is Maki and Yuta, and pair 2 is Panda and Inumaki. While walking to their objectives, Maki asks if Yuta was bullied in the past. Noticing she was spot on, she tells Yuta that it's written on his face that he is acting like a good person. He should stop trying to act like he is the victim when he is being protected and he needs a goal in life. Arriving at an elementary school, Gojo tells Yuta and Maki that there is a curse somewhere around the school. Spawning in a veil, which is a barrier that protects people from the outside seeing in, Gojo leaves and tells them not to die. Spotting curses already, Maki starts to fight them. Yuta watching in awe, Maki slices the curses in one swipe. Walking around the school, we see many small curses hiding away from the sorcerers and not attacking. Maki, wondering why they are hiding, asks Yuta what grade he is as a sorcerer. Yuta doesn't understand what she means, so she asks for his ID. As she notices he is a special grade, a huge curse appears behind them. Breaking through the school, the curse sends Yuta and Maki flying into the air. Trying to attack the curse, Maki misses and her weapon bounces off the teeth of it. Stuck inside the stomach of the curse, they argue over what to do but hear children yell out. One of the kids has been affected by the curse already and Maki falls down due to a cut. Yuta struggles to know what to do to help, so Maki questions why he even came to Jujutsu High in the first place. Yuta explains that he doesn't want anyone to get hurt, wants to be needed by someone, and wants the confidence to say he's alive. Telling him exorcising the curse would get him friends, Yuta tells Rika to lend him her strength. Attacking the curse, we see Gojo is watching, who is laughing at the strength of Rika. Fighting through his pain, Yuta brings Maki and the children to Gojo outside the veil, ending his training. Bringing them to a hospital, Gojo tells Yuta that Maki and the kids will be fine. A kid walks by him in the hospital, which makes Yuta remember the past moments with Rika he had as a child. We see Yuta agreed to the promise made by Rika to stay together forever, which makes Yuta think he cursed Rika instead. Yuta finally finds his meaning of life, and tells Gojo he will break Rika's curse while he is at Jujutsu High. Back at the school we see someone picks up Yuta's dropped ID on the roof. Confronting Gojo, the higher-ups ask him about why Rika was released for so long, saying that she could have destroyed the city, that they trusted him and there is no room for excuses. Gojo explains that there is nothing to understand about the curse and it is something they can't control. Reminding Gojo that Yuta's execution was only delayed, Gojo says he would side with Yuta if it ever happens. Being annoyed with the old men, Gojo leaves putting his blindfold on, and sees his students practicing. Grabbing Yuta, Gojo brings him to a room where there are many weapons around. Throwing him a katana, Gojo explains curses are most stable when they are possessing objects, and that the ring Yuta uses already holds Rika. Telling Yuta he will also need to work on his sword work, we fade to Maki and Yuta training together. Yuta struggles at fighting back, and when Gojo interrupts, Yuta gets hit by Maki, who says not to get distracted during a fight. Starting round 2, Yuta gets Maki to jump in the air. Thinking he won, Maki dodges his attack, grabbing him and beating Yuta. Asking for another round, we cut to Panda, Inumaki, and Gojo talking about them. Panda wondering what type of woman Yuta likes, Panda asks him if he prefers big or small boobs. Which Yuta explains he never really give it thought, but would go with bigger. Panda tells Maki that she has a chance, which makes them start a fight. Gojo lets Inumaki and Yuta know that they are grouped together and that Yuta is Inumaki's support for their mission. Gojo tells Yuta to not let Rika loose this time around or else they could both get killed. Arriving at their mission, we see the sights of the city around them and that the mall should be mostly closed at this time. Inumaki buys throat medicine just in case he needs it, and the veil spawns in. They spot out curses already. Inumaki uses cursed speech to explode them all in one hit. While trying to leave the veil, we see someone smile and their foot in a shot as a curse appears behind Yuta and Inumaki. Saving Yuta, Inumaki uses cursed speech on the curse but stops midway due to coughing. Yuta saves him, but we see that Inumaki dropped his throat medicine. Freaking out, Yuta says sorry to Inumaki and tries to think of what to do. Realizing Yuta is useless, Inumaki tells Yuta to stay here and he will go alone. Yuta, noticing that he isn't helping, tells Inumaki he is okay and will try his best. Walking up behind the curse gets scared and becomes aware to Yuta due to the power of Rika. Calming down, Yuta tries to imbue his katana with Rika's curse, which works. Yuta gets behind it and lands a hit but gets hit back. Yuta then grabs the throat medicine and throws it up to Inumaki, who drinks it and finally defeats the curse. Finishing their mission, they high-five each other and we see that the person who was there earlier is still watching him. We see Gojo checks out the area after they finished, and looks at exactly where the person was sitting before. Kyotaku apologizes not watching carefully over the students, which Gojo says it's fine due to him being outclassed from Geto. We learn Geto was banished from Jujutsu High after cursing over 100 normal people to death, and is one of the 4 only special grade Jujutsu sorcerers. We get introduced to Geto, who is talking to 2 women. One of them feels as if they are being haunted by a ghost, so Geto tells them not to move and takes the curse away. Finishing his appointment, we see Geto call the people he was talking to monkeys, and sprays disinfecting spray to get rid of the monkey's stench. While taking selfies, Konomori runs in telling Geto to get rid of his curse. After learning that he hasn't made any more donations in the past 6 months, Geto gets rid of him. Entering a room, he announces it is time to build a paradise for Jujutsu sorcerers. Yuta, feeling that something is off, a 4-winged pelican lands, dropping off Geto and his crew in front of Yuta. Appearing in front of Yuta out of nowhere, Geto grabs Yuta's hands and talks about how much power Yuta possesses. Geto asks if Yuta has ever questioned the current state of the world. With Gojo showing up behind them, Yuta pushes Geto's arm off of him. Gojo asks what Geto really came for, and he says he is declaring war. He will release his 1,000 curses in Shinjuku, Tokyo, and Kyoto each. While explaining, he gets cut off by Nanako, who says the crepe store is going to close soon. With Geto leaving, Gojo threatens Geto, who then spawns in curses around everyone and tells Gojo to just wait until the 24th. Gojo has a flashback to when him and Geto were having a conversation when they were younger. Geto says that sorcerers should help protect non-sorcerers, and Gojo says he hates righteousness. Geto asks, "Are you the strongest because you are Gojo Satoru? Or are you Gojo Satoru because you are the strongest?" Saying that if he was Gojo, all his foolish ideals would become reasonable possibilities. Geto leaves saying he has decided how to live his life. And we see Gojo puts his hand out to use a move we haven't seen before, but stops. December 24th arrives and we see all the sorcerers set up waiting for Geto. The main objective for Geto is to kill Yuta and obtain Rika, while everyone else needs to draw attention away from protecting Yuta. We see Maki and Yuta are both still at Jujutsu High, and Maki finally explains why she is a failure. He learns that she can't see curses without her glasses and that she wants to crush the Zenin clan. Yuta says that he wishes he could be so strong and unyielding like Maki. We see Geto spawns in a veil over the school, and has started the attack with his curses. Geto runs into Maki, and we see Gojo realizes that Geto isn't at the front lines. Gojo grabs Panda and Inumaki, sending them back to Jujutsu High to protect Yuta and Maki from Geto. He teleports them to the school and meets his opponent Miguel. Breaking the veil, we see Geto has already beat Maki. Panda breaks through the wall, starting his fight with Geto. Seeing that Maki lost already, Geto catches Panda off guard. Panda awakens into his gorilla mode, and while Panda is fighting Geto's curses, Geto picks up Maki's staff and throws it into Panda, who then gets saved by Inumaki's cursed speech. Checking on Maki to see if she is alive, Geto shows up behind them. Wondering what is going on outside, Yuta goes out. Seeing Panda, Maki, and Inumaki down bleeding, Yuta rages, calling out Rika, fully manifesting her for the second time. Saying he will kill Geto. The fight begins. Geto sends curses up to Yuta, who defeats them all. Saving his friends, Yuta uses reverse curse technique to heal them, but Rika steals Maki. Rika gets mad that Maki is always around Yuta, but Yuta tells Rika to not hurt Maki at all. Scared of Yuta being mad at her, Rika brings Maki back. Geto resumes the fight by sending his curses at Yuta. Yuta pulls out a cursed speech megaphone and exorcises all the curses with the word, "die." In awe of Yuta learning how to use cursed speech within a year of studying Jujutsu, Geto wants Rika more than ever. Coming back to the city, we see Ino, the ski mask sorcerer, fighting a big curse. We then see Mei use her axe to defeat curses. Counting up her numbers, she gets to 50 eliminations and wants more to receive bigger pay. Kiyotaka runs into Mimiko and Nanako, and mid-conversation Miguel crashes behind them due to Gojo. Miguel starts a conversation with him, which gets interrupted by a curse. Gojo uses red technique to destroy the curse and their fight starts. Miguel tries to land a hit on Gojo but only misses. Running away, Gojo teleports Miguel back to him and destroys the curse. Miguel tries to swing away but Gojo teleports in front of him, stopping Miguel. Gojo gives Miguel the biggest combo of punches ever seen, and we cut back to the Geto fight. Telling Rika to follow his lead, they attack Geto together, combining their attacks. Geto and Yuta clash. Rika comes from behind and Geto dodges. Both Rika and Yuta attack Geto at the same time and he blocks both, clashing with them. He spawns in an octopus curse on Yuta, who breaks out in time. Out of nowhere, Yuta grows in strength and speed and dashes to Geto. Yuta gets behind Geto, who breaks his katana. Yuta then uses Black Flash for the first time, sending Geto flying. Yuta and Geto both agree to go full out on their next attack. Geto explains there are 4 special grade cursed users and there are 16 special grade curses. Geto spawns in one of the 16th and also combines all 4,461 curses he possesses into it. Remembering his promise with Rika for a final time, Yuta thanks Rika for supporting him and falling in love with him. He asks to borrow her power one last time so he can finally stop Geto. Saying he loves Rika, he kisses her, which releases the limit on her cursed energy, stating it is pure love. Yuta and Geto attack each other. With an explosion, we cut back to the city to see sorcerers fighting another big curse. A man stops a woman from trying to fight, who we see is Nanami, and he goes to finish the curses. It falls and Nanami uses Black Flash once, twice, 3 times, and for a 4th time. We then see Kamo, Miwa, Mekamaru, Mai, Momo, and Todo, who were all fighting together. Seeing the aftermath of the explosion, we see Geto struggling to walk. He tries to use the wall to get away but runs into Gojo. Asking if his family is safe, Gojo replies with yes. He also asks if Gojo sent his students to lose purposely, so Yuta could get angry. Gojo says he trusted Geto in not killing young sorcerers without a reason. Getting flashbacks to when Gojo and him were classmates, Gojo walks up to Geto and tells him, "You are my best friend, my one and only." Yuta wakes up to Panda, Maki, and Inumaki over him and is glad to see they are okay. Rika changes from curse form back to her human form, meaning he broke the curse. We learn that Yuta placed the curse on Rika, not the other way around. So as long as the one cursed doesn't seek any penalty, it is fully broken. Thinking that it is his fault for everything that has happened to Rika, she hugs him, thanking him for allowing her to spend even more time with him. Rika says goodbye to Yuta, and tells him not to meet her in heaven too soon. With tears in his eyes, he watches Rika fade away. Walking together in the snow, Gojo gives Yuta his ID back. Yuta questions if Gojo found it, which Gojo states his one and only best friend did. After the credits, there is a scene where we see Yuta is in another city eating food with Miguel. While talking about the food, Gojo shows up saying it's time to go back to Jujutsu High. And the movie ends.